On the day of 9/11, it was election day. It was actually a beautiful day out. The skies were very clear. And I was out on patrol with another recently promoted lieutenant. We got promoted together. We had somebody drive us out. We were just going to check on some of the election posts and do patrol. And when the first building was struck, a friend of mine that was doing election detail down in southern Manhattan by the World Trade Center, he came over the radio and I heard someone say that a plane had struck the World Trade Center.
In September 11th, 2001, I was teaching in South Jamaica in a precinct. I was teaching firearms law. And I had just about taken a break to go talk to a couple of buddies of mine that were in the emergency service unit of NYPD's emergency service unit, which was attached to this precinct where I was. And my friend Gary came down. He says, "Why don't you come upstairs for a cup of coffee?" He said, "We're watching a TV. A plane just flew into a building." And at that time, I guess everybody, including myself, thought it was just a small plane. We had no idea what was going on.
I'll never forget that day. I was here in Carr Place. I was teaching between Cherry Lane, and then I would come up here and teach in a high school. I remember someone coming into Cherry Lane classroom and telling me that a plane hit the World Trade Center. And for me, I'm like, oh, it's probably nothing. It's probably a little biplane, you know, things hit the Empire State Building here and there. And then after the class, I remember walking into the teacher's workroom and seeing what happened.
On September 11th, when the day started, I was home. And I was listening to the TV or the news, and they mentioned a plane hitting the towers. And I said to myself, and they said it was an accident, and I'm saying to myself, planes don't hit the towers by accident. I didn't even know what size the plane was. They were saying it was a little one, but whatever. Then the second plane hit, and I said, that's it, I'm out of here. I got in my car, because at the time, I was a captain in Manhattan. 14 engine on 18th Street, and between 5th and Broadway.
As soon as we walked through the door, they said that another plane struck the other tower. We knew right away it was terrorism. This was no accident. And then we went right to the TV, and you could see that it was, you know, a gaping hole. It was not a small plane that struck the buildings.
Fast forward to 9/11. It was a Tuesday morning. Usually I arrive at work around 8 o'clock. I commute in from the Long Island Railroad, and then we took the subway down. And I was on the 68th floor of Tower 1 on the north side. So, for those that seen the pictures, that was the first building that got hit. So, grabbed our stuff, we went down, continued to proceed down, and every 4 or 5 flights, they'd say stay to the right, and 4 firemen would come up. And they'd have their hoses and their gear ready to go up. You could see the fear in their face, and the fear in both of us. You would just cross eyes and you would just go like, it doesn't look good.
And actually I remember as we were walking towards the building, I could still see this guy's face. A civilian walked by and he says, "Listen, I want to wish you luck because I know I could leave and you can't." And I watched that guy as he walked by. We kind of locked eyes and I said, wow, this could be real bad.
Then I get down to VZ and Broadway, and there's nobody there. It's like eerie. There's no people there. There's fire trucks, police cars, there's ambulances. Some are on fire, some aren't. You know, there's debris everywhere because now I'm really close to the towers.
When we originally got down there, I mean, it was just every single sense was just assaulted all at once. I mean, the smell was arid, thick, smoke everywhere. I mean, you didn't know where to look, where to, didn't know what to do. It was just so overwhelming.
I'll never forget also that I was on the east side of the deal, and it was a bright sunny day. The wind was blowing to the east. The west side of it, everybody was in clean air, sunshine. I never went over there because I was doing too much stuff where I was, but my end was so black and so dark, it was like dusk, and the debris and soot in the air was unbelievable, to the point where when I went home, I didn't go home, I went back to the firehouse at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. My neck was all bloody from all the stuff that was stuck under my shirt and coat, like broken glass, broken, cement, parts of the building, parts of people, just all kinds of stuff. And I thought everybody was like that, but they weren't. I was on the wrong end of it.
And I walked across the street, and once I got to the foot of the complex, the first building started to fall. And at first I didn't know what it was. It was a thunderous sound. The ground was shaking. I looked up, and you see a sea of people running, and I could see the top of the building start to implode. And my first thoughts were, when I turned to run with everyone else, it's going to topple over. I'm not going to make it. So I started to run up the block, and you could hear the crashing of debris hitting the buildings as we were running towards Broadway. As we were running, we were grabbing people to try and bring with us. And I got about a block, and as I was running, I'm turning, and I could see the dust cloud and debris. It looked like a 100-story ghost coming at you, just filling up the air. And I thought, if that gets to me, I'm not going to be able to breathe. I'm going to die.
And I still remember the smells. I still remember everything of that day. It was, I don't think I'll ever forget 9/11.